4 years. All of these actors. A legendary director who revolutionized the independent film scene. There's so much hype coming into the release of this movie, and after it all, it turned out pretty good. I thought it resembled Hot Fuzz. That was a movie that I thought I could compare it to, in a way where it takes a long time to come together, feel pretty disjointed and lacks structure, just kind of characters kind of going on their way at the beginning, then sort of props it up. You just spend more time with the characters. You get to enjoy just spending time and hanging out with Rick Dalton, Cliff Booth. This is important because it's more about the characters and their lives than any plot that happens to be around. This is very disjointed and sort of like Lost in Translation-esque. Yeah, it's a combination of Lost in Translation and Hot Fuzz, which is an issue for me early on, because you sort of want to know that there's a payoff. And I was just sort of sitting there with some absolute garbage with no plot, which, not gonna lie, for the first couple minutes it kind of felt like that, but you grow into it, and by the end it felt like I loved it the entire time. It was sort of that kind of movie. It wasn't a consistently fun experience throughout, but by the end it was a consistently fun experience throughout, if that makes any sense. It is always nice to know that there is a payoff for these kinds of things, to make sure you know you're gonna have a good time and you're not just sort of wasting your time with garbage, which I don't think anyone really loves to waste their time with garbage. Performance-wise, everyone is phenomenal here, on top form, especially because they have to do a lot of silent emoting. This isn't like a very straight-up dialogue-intensive movie like a lot of Quentin Tarantino's other work. It's very staring off into the distance and making you think about life just through sort of your eyes, not the actor's eyes, and you have to work a lot more presence than sort of dialogue. And everyone rises to the occasion here, especially Brad Pitt was the best performance here in a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Al Pacino. That's saying a lot, but he just really embodies that and is the best purveyor of their theme of trying to stay relevant in an age which it's slowly starting to sort of pass you by. And he definitely he sort of nailed the somber look into the distance, the need to make his character seem fleshed out and real. Definitely found the most achingly powerful performance of the large group of achingly powerful performances. This is a great 60s throwback, not because of just the really awesome sets and attention to detail, like with the cars and the clothing and all those very standard period piece stuff, your high level period pieces, but also just from the way it was filmed. It's shot in a very old style way. I thought it looked grittier, like a lot of movies before 2000, for example. I'm not sure if this is a direct choice or not, but it was. If it was well done. Props to the cinematographer for that. The Tarantino foot fetish thing was in full display here, and I really don't get what the whole point of that is. Like, okay, maybe you're really into feet for some reason, but I was actually taken out of the movie several times because just the focus of the camera on just a random shot of whatever character's feet, which just kind of felt like, if you're trying to make a really good movie and you are a director of such a high quality, why did you burn that realism and this achingly good world that you're putting people in for like a really unnecessary foot shot, which does not connect with 99% of the audience of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? It just feels like an unnecessary flaw in this movie and in other Tarantino works, but especially this movie. I'm really glad this is making a lot of money, as it seems to be his highest grossing film, or it could be. I'm not sure the actual statistics, but it does definitely seem to be holding its own against a lot of competition, which I'm glad about, but I'm really surprised it was this one, especially because there was a big disconnect between the marketing for me and what actually came out. This was marketed as a lot more of an action-y movie than it was like focused around the Manson murders. That was what got everyone talking about it, but it really was not like that at all. And I'm surprised it hasn't been like a Drive situation where people have sued the makers for false advertising, like how they in Drive thought it was going to be an action-packed car chasing movie, and it really was not. I'm surprised it hasn't happened in a high-profile case here, maybe because it's just good enough. But I am glad that this kind of movie is making a lot of money, because that sort of shows that independent cinema is not dead. Like, a lot of indie movies have been losing money this year. It seems like the only person that can make money is Disney now, and I'm glad Hollywood is sort of bucking that trend. Best moment was definitely the ending, which, spoilers, not really going to get into that bit, but it definitely tied it together, and overall this movie just felt like it was true to its title. This was a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This kind of thing vaguely could happen in Hollywood at that time with these actors who are not real but draw inspiration from various actors at the time. And it just felt like one of those movies about life, you know. It felt like the characters driving the plot. It was rather than the plot driving the characters, which a lot of the best movies are going to be more organic, more freewheeling. It's more of an emphasis on making it feel like an everyday life, which isn't. Our lives don't have plots. We don't have, oh, we got to do this massive thing. We got to go from point A to point B. This is a series of events, if you will, just sort of building towards a conclusion, which kind of doesn't really conclude in any very meaningful way, but includes in a very real way. And that kind of realism permeates Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and adds a really great amount of character. Like Lost in Translation, I keep bringing up, it's my favorite movie, and it has that kind of unconcludingness to it, which I'm glad is present in more movies such as this one, especially since it's so good. I would 100% recommend this to anyone. Not anyone, but like the vast, if you're a Tarantino fan, see it. If you like a slow burner, definitely check this one out.